Good evening once again, friends, and welcome. It's Friday. We're here once again to read our psalm tonight. If it's your first time here, let me start out by telling you my name's Gerald. I'm with Innovate Church here in Kannapolis, and it's just our little house church here in our basement. I've been doing these nightly, just trying to get God's word out there and share it with those who will take the time to listen, and pray that it's a blessing and an encouragement to everyone that hears it. Tonight's psalm is Psalm 38. It's one of David's more darker ones. You can really, whenever you read it, you'll really sense his struggle here with whatever it is he's dealing with in the moment. And we'll kind of try to see what the Lord is trying to teach us out of David's experience here. The title of this one is "Do Not Forsake Me, O Lord." O Lord, rebuke me not in your anger, nor discipline me in your wrath. For your arrows have sunk into me, and your hand has come down on me. There is no soundness in my flesh because of your indignation. There is no health in my bones because of my sin. For my iniquities have gone over my head. Like a heavy burden, they are too heavy for me. My wounds stink and fester because of my foolishness. I am utterly bowed down and prostrate. All the day I go about mourning. For my sides are filled with burning, and there is no soundness in my flesh. I am feeble and crushed. I groan because of the tumult of my heart. O Lord, all my longing is before you. My sighing is not hidden from you. My heart throbs, my strength fails me, and the light of my eyes, it has gone from me. My friends and companions stand aloof from my plague, and my nearest kin stand far off. Those who seek my life lay their snares. Those who seek my hurt speak of ruin and meditate treachery all day long. But I am like a deaf man, I do not hear, like a mute man who does not open his mouth. I have become like a man who does not hear, and in whose mouth are no rebukes. But for you, O Lord, do I wait. It is you, O Lord, my God, who will answer. For I said, only let them rejoice over me, who boast against me when my foot slips. For I am ready to fall, and my pain is ever before me. I confess my iniquity. I am sorry for my sin. My foes are vigorous, they are mighty, and many are those who hate me wrongfully. Those who render me evil for good accuse me because I follow after good. Do not forsake me, O Lord. O my God, be not far from me. Make haste to help me, O Lord, my salvation. So David here, we really sense his struggle. And I believe it's struggle with sin in his life at this time. And I don't know which sin it is that he's struggling with here, and it doesn't matter. But I love how he takes responsibility for it. He says, my wounds stink and fester because of my foolishness. So apparently he gave in to something that he knew better. And I'm sure, I know I can definitely know when I've sinned and when I've failed. And maybe it's something you've given up long ago, and then all of a sudden it trips you up. Or maybe it's something that you continue to fall into over and over, and you keep questioning God's forgiveness and why that sin hangs on to you so deeply. And he sits here and he talks about how he feels God is punishing him. And he does say it's because of my sin. And so David recognizes within himself his own wrongdoing. And many of us have to do the same. Really, all of us have to do the same. None of us live sin-free. I'm sure there's not a day that goes by that I don't sin in some way. Be it just my thought life, be it something I said or something I did or didn't do. I fail each and every day that I breathe. I mean, that's the truth. There's nothing holy or righteous within my flesh to make me any different from David here. I'm a wrongdoer just like he was. But yet I know my heart burns just like his does for the Lord. I want to seek and please him with all of my being. And I pray that you do as well. And we have here with David, he does the same thing, and he cries out to God, do not forsake me. Because that would be the one thing that truly ruined him. To be forgotten from God, or to be cast out by God because of our sin, would be worse than anything we could ever experience. So we're so thankful that, just like David says, how God hears him and hears his cry, and he sees him fall prostrate, meaning he's falling in worship and in the sense of begging God for forgiveness. And we know that God grants that forgiveness to us through Jesus, because he loves us that much. Like he says here in the end of this psalm, he says, "Make haste to help me, O Lord, my salvation." Even though he has a struggle with sin, even though he knows he's failed God, even though he questions God's punishment of him, he recognizes at the end that because of God's love, he says, "O Lord, my salvation." He knows that he is saved through the Lord and because of his love for the Lord. So friends, no matter what it is you're wrestling with as far as sin goes in your life, know that you cannot go too far from the Lord. He desires you to turn back to him each and every time you've sinned. And he offers that forgiveness. Elsewhere, Jesus is questioning, how many times should I forgive someone? 7 times, because 7 is the number for completeness in the scriptures. And Jesus tells him, says, no, 7 times, 70 times. In other words, you don't quit forgiving. You continue to. And Christ wouldn't have said that without he himself being willing to do the same, because he offers that unlimited forgiveness. And I am so thankful for it. I'm thankful for myself that he offers it, and I'm thankful for you that he offers it. So if you have failed him today, like I know I have as well, and let us remember to pray, confess, ask for his forgiveness, and know that he has forgiven and he has saved us. Friends, as always, I pray this has been a blessing and encouragement to you. And I just ask that you forward this message on to someone else that could also use that same blessing and encouragement. Friends, again, I pray you have an excellent weekend, and we'll get to see you again tomorrow evening. Have a glorious night.